Hello, everyone. Whoa, what a morning I have had. My computer didn't want to cooperate.
Hello, everyone.
Whoa, what a morning I have. Sorry about that. I hit the wrong button on my computer. Anyway, my computer didn't want to cooperate. My phone didn't want to cooperate. Nothing was cooperating. So I do have things set up now. It's not the best setup. I'm still a little bit a ways away from my desktop. So I hope you can still see it. I had my neighbor come over and fix my arm because it was slowly sinking down. But it's now fixed and good. So hopefully this will work. And I apologize if you cannot see my screen or what I'm doing when I switch to my phone, but I will try and show you step by step so that you see it. There was nothing I can do about it at this point. So I'll work with it and see what I can do. Hey, Kim, glad you came in. But I have yesterday, I spent the whole day in my studio and I just crafted away. I made most of my cards for next week. I have 2 things left to do, and then next week is all done. I'm going to try and work ahead because I have a lot of commitments coming up that I need to get done. And the only way to do that is if I'm worked ahead for things. I also am going to start working smarter, not harder. So going to be some changes here. I hope you have your beverage of choice. I have my tea. It's very full because I haven't even had a chance to drink any of it. But it's good. Yeah, my first thing this morning was I got up and I went to get my scones from the freezer. I had none, so I had to make scones. So that kind of threw me for a loop. And then I didn't have any of my cards prepped. I knew what I was doing, but I didn't have them prepped. So I came up and I prepped them. And then I went downstairs, and like I said, I'm fooling with my iPad over there so I can see. I came back up here to set up and nothing was cooperating. I went, oh, darn it. So I don't know why, but I can't. When I'm doing Zoom, I can't zoom in on my phone, and I don't know why. I think I need to play with that. I have a private Facebook group that's just mine, or even I have a group with Vicki that we share ideas, and I can go in there and do a Zoom in there and see if I can't figure out how to do it. I think the first thing I'll do is Google it, because Google is my friend, and I hope he's yours, because I get so many answers to things from there. Well, it's Mother's Day weekend. I hope you all have some fun plans. I don't have any. My kids are in Maryland and California, and I'm in North Carolina. So I imagine I'll get some phone calls and things like that. I did. My oldest did send me a text and say, what's on your wish list? And I said, $1 million, haha. And she says, well, that's on mine too. But need anything, but there were some things that I wasn't able to find. I'd done a search for it. So I asked her to do a search, and she came through this morning. She came through with, I want to get solar lights for my path on my walkway. And she found 2 sets. And then I said I wanted a new rash guard because water aerobics is starting here and I burn very easily. So I wear 50 SPF lotion and a 50 rash guard so that I don't burn. And I'm looking for a pink one, but I want it to go with black. So I kind of wanted to have some black in there. And she sent me like 10 different ones. So all I have to do now is go through and look at them and see which one I want. And then I'll be set. So I'll be doing some shopping tomorrow for Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day to me. The tea is so good. Lots going on. Oh, that's fabulous, Kim. Yeah, it's great when those things, you know, you've got kids that can do that kind of thing for you and everything. Mine being so far away, it's a little hard. So, but that's okay. I'll take the phone calls and the FaceTimes and we'll go from there. I decided to do something a little different this morning. I'm taking one layout and I'm going to do 3 different cards. One of the cards uses a retired embossing folder and it's 3 inches wide. So I'm going to show you the trick for that one. And the other 2 are current sets. But what I did do was I wanted foil to edge the panel. I am using Designer Series paper, 3 different kinds, to edge the paper. And I wanted to, so I went in my stash. I found some current and some stuff from the past, and that's what I'm going to use, and go with that because I just want to. I think I've confused my sets in looking at things. Oh, well, I'll get it straight when it's time. I see I have quite a few people in here. Make sure you say hello. And pretty soon we're going to get started. I'm going to take another sip of my tea. I am using my watch because I'm on my computer and the time on my watch are 5 minutes different. So I'm going to take one more sip. Hey, Janice, of my tea, and I'm going to move it over to the table and then we'll get started. Okay, it's out of the way. All right, now I cannot move. Oh, that one isn't the one I need. I cannot move my wrong. I'm trying to get this centered beforehand. I cannot move my arm because my neighbor has it very tight, which is fine. So I have to flip it up, or when I sit down, the camera's in my way. So with that, I'm going to remove this spotlight and spotlight my, oh no, it's upside down. All right, hold on. Let me see if I turn it around. And I did. Oh, darn. I didn't check that. So I guess I'm going to have to look at that. All right, now this is as close as I can get, guys. I am truly sorry. So hopefully, hey, Renee, you can see this. I can kind of see what you're seeing on my iPad. So, and it's crooked. Oh, wrong way. There, that's a little better. Okay. Before we get started, I wanted to let you know there's only 2 days left for you to get my online exclusive card class by ordering the Circle Sayings bundle. And I wanted to show you the cards that we're doing. And your card kit will come with 1/4 of a package of the DSP, 2 yards of ribbon, and 1/2 a package of gems. All the paper, the ribbon, and the gems are all new. So I'll bring this a little closer. So this is a way for you to play with some new products. And all you have to do is order the bundle. Now you don't get 1/4 of a package, you get the pieces. Sorry, the pieces, the 2 yards of ribbon, and 1/2 a, no, you do get the package. Oh my gosh, see, I'm so messed up. You get 1/4 of a package of the DSP, 2 yards of the ribbon, and 1/2 a package of the gems. So this is what you get in the card kit. And then you get the bases and all the other pieces to make the cards. I use the Go-To Greetings stamp set for all of my sentiments. You can shop your stash and use whatever sentiments you have that will fit in there. I've done a variety. I've done the happy birthday, the thinking of you, the just a note, all of those. So, you know, thank you. Just make it for your own. So don't miss that out. Oh, don't miss that out. Don't miss that opportunity. Go to my website. You must use the host code and order the, let me see, where's my host code paper? See, I'm not all together today. All right. Here we go. Here's the host code. And you must use this host code when you place your order to get the kit for no, I am totally wrong. Totally wrong. That is not what you get. That's the try it class. That's the try it class. Never mind. Let me go here. For the try it class, that's for the Circle Sayings exclusive online class. Okay. Can you tell I'm really flustered this morning? This is the one where all you do is you order the bundle, and the bundle is the Circle Sayings. It's the stamp set and the punch. And I don't see my cards that I can put my hands on them real quick. So I was moving stuff around here and I may have just kind of thrown them to the side. But you'll make 4 cards and there's a twist, because like this one is a feminine card, but the twist is the dimensions are all the same. I show you a masculine version. This is a masculine version. I show you a feminine version. So you get the kit that has 4 cards, which will have the paper. All you need is to order the Circle Sayings, and then we send you the kit with the pieces. But you got to use the host code to get the kit free. All right, let me see if I can get this going. So there's that. The other ones, this one, go back to this one. This is my Try It, new catalog Try It class. And with this one, you get 1/4 of a package of the DSP, 2 yards of ribbon, and 1/2 a package of the gems. And this paper is the inked botanicals. And that one you have to sign up for. I have not put it out there yet. This will only be in the US, unfortunately, because I can't ship product to other countries. But you will get a PDF and a link to a video to show you how to put it together. I'm going to work on my videos this week. That has not been advertised. The advertisement for that will be out in the next couple of days. So there's that. So those are the 2 things I have going on. Now let's get started with today's idea. All right. For my first card, I am using Quiet Meadow, and I'm going to use this image. All right. So with that, the first thing you need is your card base. Now I am using white as my card base and white as my layer, but my card base is 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4. Now that's what we use in the US. If you're in another country, all you have to do is modify it. And naturally, I cannot find my, now, don't you love it? All right, I don't know where my phone folder is, so I'm going to grab my favorite one. It's not a Stampin' Up! One. I've had it for years, but I love it. All right, so there's my card base. The next layer, I'm embossing, and this I embossed. This is the folder that I pulled out. Now I'm going to show you how you can do an embossing. I don't know if you're going to be able to see this. Somewhat. Move my head. an embossing of a 3-inch folder and do the whole panel. So the first thing I did was I put this in like so, and I lined up this side and I ran it through. Then I opened it up, and the key here is you can't go past 5.5. All right. So the next thing I did was I took my folder and I don't know if you're going to be able to see it. I matched up my dots. It's pretty easy to do. There will be dots here that you can see, that you can get it in. Now, this may not be lined up perfectly. And then you close it and run it through again. Hey, Betty Ann. So that's how you emboss both sides. And you can't tell that this wasn't a full embossing folder. Oh my goodness, there. You can't see the line. So that's how you can do it. I do it all the time with my 3-inch ones because I love my 3-inch ones. And sometimes they're the perfect embossing folder for what I want. And I use them and just double emboss. You do have to have it lined up. So take your time and line it up. It's easier to see than you think because you can't see it real good here because my lights are, I have a shadow from my lights, which I haven't had before. I don't know why. Let me try opening my blinds. I usually close them because it puts a glare on my glasses. Is that a little better? I know I'm so far away. I apologize. All right. Okay. When I do a regular video, I can zoom in. So maybe I don't know. I tried a couple of things and I couldn't get it to zoom in, but then I couldn't get it to focus on my camera on my phone to focus on my top. I was tapping the thing and everything. Like I said, it was a challenging morning. Now, if you have, and I do down here, a section that's not done real well, put that where you know most of it will be hidden. And the way my layout is, that would be the bottom. So then I took a piece of the Fresh as a Daisy pattern paper. Now this one is the sheet that has like 12 pieces on it. You have to cut it up. And so you get a piece this size and all different other sizes. So I just decided to use this one today. And I'm going to go back to my tear and tape because I pulled out a piece of glitter paper that goes way back, and I got a pokey tool was bent really bad. I was wondering what I used to pry it open. This is a piece that it had a blue in it and this yellow, and I don't know what other color it was, but it was ombre. And I chose this end because I felt it matched the paper the best. If you like the lighter end, use the lighter end. All right, now I'm going to put this on, and I used my double-sided tape because glitter does not like to stick. Is that straight? No. No, pull it over slightly. There we go. That's better. Glitter doesn't like to stick to a lot of things, right? And I cut this a little longer than I needed it, which I knew I would. So I'm just going to trim it up. I just knew I could do it. This piece, oh, I forgot to tell you, this piece is 2 3/4 by 4. Some of them are 4 1/4 and some are 4. This worked out to be 4, so I used it and left it. And this piece is going to go on here like so. And I'm going to use my double-sided tape because this is embossed. All right. So all my DSP is 2 3/4 by either 4 or 4 1/4. My glitter or foil with paper, which is this strip on the side, is a 1/2 inch by either 4 or 4 1/4, depending on the size of this panel. This panel was 4 by 5 1/4. All right. So there we go. And I'm going to put this on my card. And I'm going to take this off. Do you ever have those mornings where things just don't go right and then you're flustered for the rest? Oh, thanks, Renee. If you need centimeters, Renee has graciously put it up there for you. Now I want my glitter paper or foil to the left. So I'm going to put this on like so, right about there. All right, so there's that. Now, the next thing I need to do is I need to stamp my image, and I'm going to stamp it with Memento. And I have a new pad, so hopefully I didn't mess that up. All right, and I'm going to stamp it right to the side. When you stamp it, leave it there for a few seconds for the ink to dry, and then make sure you pull straight up. Now I wanted to color these in, so I went to my Copics that matched the colors, and this one is Y26, which matches the Curry, in case you have Copics. If you have the blends, you can use the blends. I do not, so I'm going to use my Copics. And I'm just going to color in all my pieces. Don't forget your buds. So I'm going to color these in like so. So there I've got my flowers colored. And then for my stems and leaves, I'm using YG67. And you have to be, hold on, let me see. Nope, that's the chisel. Some of mine have the bullet tip, which I like better for little tiny spaces. This one doesn't. So I'm going to color this in. And this one matches garden green. So I'm not doing any shading. I'm keeping it clean and simple. And I'm probably going to cut the bottom of that off some. So I'm coloring this in like so. All right. And it doesn't take long, just take your time. If you press too hard, you're going to get it to bleed on the outside, which is what some of this is doing. I'm pressing too hard. I like the bullet tip for that reason. All right, so I've got this stamped. There is no die to cut this out. So I'm going to use my scissors, my snips, and I'm going to cut this out. All right. And it won't take me long because I'm not going to do a really elaborate cutting on here. I'm just going to kind of go around. I'm not going down in the center of those leaves and cutting that out. It's just too much. So I'm just going to cut around the edge. If you have a scan and cut or a silhouette Cameo, you can easily scan this in and have it cut it out for you. Now I will go down this way. Right. I'm going to come over, and I do kind of go around and go in different directions. Come on. can't get this one up enough to get down in here because I did cut it. There we go. All right. Now I'm gonna cut this way, and I'm not going to go down in that area. It's kind of small. I don't go down in the really tiny areas. You run the risk of cutting through your stem. And sometimes it doesn't matter, and sometimes it does. You can sometimes cut it off, and you don't want to do that. Now, if you're more particular and you want it cut out the inside first with an X-Acto knife. If you want all that cut out, cut it out with an X-Acto knife first, then cut out the outline. And the reason you want to do the inside first is you have more supporting your stems on the side so that you can cut it without ripping the stems off. So there we go. I'm almost done. Come here, and you want to turn your paper, not your hand, your scissor hand, I should say, when you're fussy cutting. So there we go. I've got it cut. And clean this up. Now, do I want this? Yes, I want this shorter. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come down here and I'm going to cut it off there. All right. This I'm going to put on with dimensionals if I can find them in the mess I have over here. Oh, I don't have many. Oh, I have another one over here. Good. I'm good. And I cut my dimensionals apart and use the pieces. Just be careful not to rip your stems. All right. You go down. Oh, the back came off, but no dimensional. One more. There. All right, let me get my backs off. And let's see, that one doesn't have one, that one. This has a back. That one's off. And this one has a back. Not bad, only two. All right, so this one is going to go over here like so. Hey, Sharon. So there's the card. Now, I will put gems and a sentiment on here before I post it to the group. Let me hold it up some so you can see it. But simple card, quick and easy. Now, I'm going to use this same layout. And I'm going to move my stuff out of the way so I don't accidentally pick up something I shouldn't. All right. And here's the next one that we're going to do. And for this one, okay, this goes over here. Where does green go? Here, okay. And I'm using for this one, this is a piece, I think it's lovely lipstick and Grapefruit Grove foil that we had. And I pulled it out because I thought it was a pretty good match for Berry Burst. So I'm doing that. I'm going to show you a trick for that. That's got a couple of tricks or tips for you this time. I guess I should say tips, because that's really what they are. All right, there's my card base. Now, I went looking for an embossing folder. And I don't know if you've ever thought about this, but this is the raindrops folder. And normally raindrops come skinny to wide. Well, if you turn it and you emboss it and flip it upside down, it just gives you an all over pattern that you can use for any of your cards. So I'm using that one for this one. This is one that you could probably use the glue on but I'm going to take and I'm going to use my double-sided tape. Again, the measurements are all the same, 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4. This one is 4, 5 1/4. And I went looking in my pattern paper and I found scraps, to be honest with you. All right. Now I have to tell you the saga with my Berry Burst pad. I had the Berry Burst pad from when it was an in color a while ago. When I opened it, it had crystals all over it. If that happens, the crystals just keep spreading. And what happens is when you ink up your stamp, you get little tiny pieces all over, or it just slowly closes in and gets hard, and then you can't use it. So what I did, because I knew it wasn't going to do me any good, I've been rinsing it out. And I have it, and you know what? I just put this on upside down. Okay, hang on. Let me see if I can get this off. I've been rinsing it out, and I mean, I rinsed and rinsed and rinsed. I've got to heat it. All right. Now, here's another tip. Don't you love it when I make these mistakes? Whoops. I just kind of hold it in place. This is my heat tool. If you heat this with your heat tool, you can release the glue and it'll come off. I didn't even think to check. There it goes. It has to get hot enough, and then it'll work. Okay, I got the one side left. Okay, there we go. All right, so anyway, back to the Berry Burst, and I'll make sure I put this thing down correctly this time. So I've been rinsing out my pad, and then I rinsed out as much as I could get, and now I'm soaking it. And I think it's finally to the point where I can re-ink it with re-inker and use it. And that's on crooked. Just a little. Let me see if I can take it off. Yeah, it hasn't. The other one was stuck down good, so let me just get it off a little and slide it over. Close enough. There. All right. So I'm hoping to be able to use it, but I'm going to show you a tip that you can do if you want to color a die cut. All right. This piece is from the Bright and Beautiful paper. Love this paper. This is the paper that we are using for the Circle Sayings online exclusive card class. All right. So I'm just going to add it with, I should have done, I will cheat here, and I should have put that piece down first. I'm going to pull this off. I'm going to pull this back because I should have put this down on here first, and I didn't. Now this piece is 4 inches, but I cut the foil to 4 1/4. So all I have to do is trim it off again. All right, so there's that. Now I can take the pieces off. Well, can't pick that one up. All right, there's that one. Let me get some of this stuff out of here. And I'm going to take this off. I had Another pad that I had that happen to is Mossy Meadow. And I had bought a new Mossy Meadow. It also happened to Blackberry Bliss, but I threw the pad away and I shouldn't have. Since I had two Mossy Meadows, I am in the process of cleaning out my Mossy Meadow pad, and I will use it for a different color. So I'm not worried about that. I have a good Mossy Meadow and then one that's not too good. So it is something you got to look at. All right, let me get this on correctly. All right, this piece was the DSP or pattern paper was 2 3/4 by, this one was 4. So there's that. I needed another idea. So I pulled in, and I'm saving this piece. I'm going to use the Meadow dies. If you know me, these are some of my favorites. All right, and I'm putting this back in here because it'll be easier to color. Now I'm going to pull in a scrap piece of paper, and I apologize because this one is really yucky, but I got some pieces missing. And now I'm going to use my blending brushes to do my coloring, but I don't have a berry burst pad. So what I'm going to take and do is I'm going to pull in a block, and I do have the marker. So I'm going to scribble on here. Then I'm going to take my blending brush and I'm going to pick it up, and I'm going to come in and I'm going to color the top of this flower. And it works fine with just the marker. Now I want this piece darker. So I've got a little tiny brush, and I'm going to go in, and it's going to take me a couple of times, and I'm going to have to add more ink, scribble on more ink. So if you don't have the ink pads, but you have the markers, you can still color your images using a blender brush. And then I'm going to use my shaded spruce pad to color my stem. And I'm starting down here, and I'll work my way up. I started at the bottom so I could hold it. And I'm starting off so that I get the blobs over there. Okay, there was no green in this paper, so that's the reason why I got to watch that one. I went with shaded spruce. Okay, let me add some more. Okay, so there's a way to color your die cuts. Just don't take them out. And if they come out of the paper you cut it out of, put them back in. Now I'm going to move this stuff out of the way because I'm done with it. And move this. And now I can take this out. And you can always save this to do some sponging inside your card. Just watch your edges and your envelope. And I got a little tiny piece up here that didn't come out that's going to be popped out. All right. Now, again, I'm going to cut this off because it's too long. And I'm not worried about it being perfect at the bottom. You know, it's a handmade card. It's not Hallmark. So there we go. Now I'm going to put this on with dimensionals. And I have another tip for you. Okay. This is very, very narrow. But with our Stampin' Up! Dimensionals, you can cut across the bottom. And this is true for both ends. All right, and I'm gonna, oh, I didn't go far enough. So, don't use every little piece you can. All right, there, that one didn't want to come. But see, now I have this long skinny strip that I can use pieces for. So I'm gonna cut a piece for that and a piece there and a little tiny piece at the bottom. So if you've got dimensionals that are too big, then use the little pieces that you can cut off the bottom for this. The key is getting the backs off because they are tiny and fiddly. All right. And then a little tiny piece at the bottom. So all I have to do is take my backs off. Okay, there's one. There's another. Naturally, it's going to stick to me. Come on, that one piece. Okay, and one more little piece down here. Hold your die cut when you do that or you will rip it. All right, so this piece is going to go on here. And I got my fingers stuck. And I have some, I don't know if I pull it up. Can you see how I've got some, it's hard to see, but there is some dimensional showing there. Not that you see it, but if that happens and it's a dark color, take your pokey tool, push it back, pinch it down and pull your pokey tool out. And it then puts that piece in the back and you don't really see it. So that's a way to hide your dimensional also. So a couple of tips on that one. So there's card 2. Again, gems and sentiment will be added later. The last one. All right, and I thought this would be kind of like a masculine card. This is a piece of the inked botanicals paper, which is what I'm using for my catalog Try It class. Again, this one is 2 3/4 by 4 1/4. All right. And I'm using this image. I thought it matched that fairly well. And I'm going to do it and die cut it in Calypso Coral. I'm using a piece of, I think it's bronze. Oh, and I didn't cut this one long enough. I'll have to cut another piece of that. Bronze foil that was from, I think a couple of years ago. I think it was out when the Quiet Meadow was out. So let me cut one real quick. This is the same color, right? Yes. I'm just going to cut it at a 1/2 inch. And I'll trim it when I get it on my card. Oh, way too much, way too much. I was cutting it at 11 because apparently I cut the other piece off of another panel that I had in my one. This was the brushed metallic cardstock we had. So this one is going to go on here. I'm going to move this aside and deal with that later. All right. This is the Natural Prints dies, is where the die is that matches this. This is Nature's Print stamp set. It's not a bundle anymore, but it's a great bundle. I went looking in my stash to see what I had that would match. I do that a lot because sometimes, we all can't afford to get, this is the side. You can't afford to get everything. And to be honest with you, there are some times that you don't like the stamp set that goes with it. I did take a second look at this bundle that goes with it. It's the inked and tiled bundle. And I ordered the bundle. I wasn't going to order bundle. I was just going to order the stamp set, but it's a double punch. And I thought, well, I'll see if I can't play with it. Who knows? I might be able to come up with something with it. All right, so there's that. And now I can trim this down. And there. All right, now for this one, I chose the Time Worn Type embossing folder. So as you see, I've used 3 different embossing folders, 3 different pattern papers, and 3 different sets with the same layout. And I shopped my stash. I didn't have anything to go with this one, so to speak, but I love those little dots we had. I pulled it out and used it. We all have those things. Grab them from your stash and use them. I did a thing on YouTube. Oh, was it this week? I think it is earlier this week on my YouTube channel, where I took, in fact, it was this paper. It was the inked and tiled paper. And I pulled out sets. I don't have the stamp set that goes with it. Hasn't come in yet, supposed to be here tomorrow, but we'll see. I pulled out from my stash and I showed you which stamp sets you may have in your stash you can use with this paper. So don't feel you have to have, you can't use the paper unless you have the stamp set. No, 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 no. Use what you have. Now, this one they say doesn't have a top or bottom, but I will tell you, there is a top and bottom. And the reason I know is that word right there is we, and no. And somewhere on here, there's the word, oh, there it is, harvest. So that's how I know where the top is. I started looking at the wording on there and I put it down the right way, because chances are you're going to have somebody you send this card to that's going to say, but this is upside down. We all have those people, don't we? Well, in my opinion, they're not card worthy. And this is what I tell all my ladies in my class. Only send the cards that you make to people who are going to ooh and ah over them and display them. If they do not, they're not card worthy. Go buy a cheap card and send it to them. And I also say that, a handmade card is an original. And the perfect example of this is my best friend sent me an Easter card one year, and it was absolutely gorgeous. The next year, she sent me the same card. I am quite certain she had no clue that she had sent me the same card. But it was a Hallmark card. She doesn't make cards, and that's fine. So they're originals, and that's why they needed to be treated as originals. Okay. I'm going to cut out one of these, and I'm going to see if I can get a second one on here. I did not cut this one out ahead of time. I probably could have, but I didn't. All right, let's see. Can I get it up in here? Ooh, I think I can. I think I can. I did. And I'll make sure the top gets cut out. Now let me die cut these. And when you die cut, if your image moves or your die moves, tape it down with some low-tack tape. I use low-tack painter's tape. It's that blue tape to hold it in place, because they will move, and I've had them move. And sometimes I can hide it and use it, and sometimes I can't. Okay. See, just tape it down. Now, when you take your tape off, I always pull it back on itself because as you see, it can pull up the white paper. So by pulling it back on itself, it has less chance of pulling up. All right, there's that one. I don't know if I'll need the second one or not, but I'm going to cut it since I've stamped it. I gotta find the tip down here. There it is. I'm gonna tape that one. This one's got to be slid over some. All right. Let me cut this one out and we can put this last card together. Okay. What's everybody doing this weekend? I hope you have some fun plans. I signed up for a retreat. It's an all-day retreat today. It started at 9 this morning and goes till 9 tonight. I watched some this morning. I'm not the kind that, you know, it's recorded. I can watch it at any time. So I'll just go back and get it. I'm not doing it with them. This is a different company that I'm doing it with. And they have a layering stencil, which I've used before from another company. This one is pretty elaborate and it's big. So I want to take and cut it down and use it on my card. But they have some interesting embossing folders that I, you know, when I signed up, that I'll get. And then, you know, that's how I keep up with what's current in the crafting world. And I then take those ideas or what I learned, and I bring it back and modify and adapt it to Stampin' Up! Stuff. I haven't had a chance to do it yet, but I'm going to play with, I found a way to make alcohol inks with Owlery inkers. So I want to try that and see how that works. I never share anything with you until I've done it and make sure it works, because I don't want you to waste your money. I can, but you don't need to. Not that I can waste my money. I like to play and try different things. So I can't wait to see if the alcohol ink works, because then we can do some alcohol ink backgrounds. But I have to I want to find some jars with droppers. Hey, Carol. So I have to look on, right, I'm gonna stick that, come on. I want to stick it under here. There we go. That's not bad. It's hidden. I have to look on Amazon because I'm pretty certain I can get them in there. I would like clear ones because then I can see what color's in there. All right, so there's card 3. All of these, same layout, same idea. I did shop my stash. I'm always telling you to do it, so I did it myself because I'm always doing it. And same layout. Basic card, basic panel, piece of DSP that's 2 3/4 by either 4 1/4 or 4, depending. This one was 4, this one was 4. This is 4 1/4. So you can kind of see this one's just a little bigger. Go with the one that you like. But easy cards, not hard to do, and a great layout. All it needs is either ribbon or gems, or ribbon and gems, and a sentiment. So you've got a lot. Oh, goodness gracious. Sharon, that's a lot of rain. We've had that here. Last week, we had a pretty bad thunderstorm, but there we go. All right, let me get ready, and I'm going to spotlight my face. And I'm going to flip this up out of the way. I won't do it till I get it up out of the way so that you're not looking at it. I have to tell you, I'm looking for a new dog. I want a new Papillon. Oh, great, Sharon. I'm glad I inspired you. So I've been looking. There's a couple of people that are breeders that have them, and I found the cutest little girl. She was a year old. The lady had kept her for her program, meaning her breeding program, but the dog was too tiny. She was only 4 pounds, and she was full grown. So I went, ooh, 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 I like that size. Bijou was 10. This one would be smaller. So I contacted her, and she was a tricolor, which is what I want. I don't want one that's going to remind me of Bijou. I want an entirely different one. So I contacted her, and I asked her some questions, and I didn't hear back. And I contacted her again. I said, is Skylar still available? If she is, I want to come see her. And she says, I am so sorry. I forgot to update my website. She's in the process of moving, and she's been spoken for. So I missed her. So it's like, okay, she wasn't meant to be mine. So I keep looking. I still have a lady down in South Carolina that I'm going to go visit. The lady that had Skylar has a litter due this month. So I'm going to be watching her website and see what she gets. I want a female, and I want it tricolor. So I just have to wait and see what comes up. So cross your fingers for me. I'm going to see if I can't find one. If I don't find one till the fall, that's fine. October, I'm going to Michaela's. So I just not too worried about it. So, all right, ladies, sounds like some of you have some great plans, cookouts, things like that. I hope you take some time and do some stamping, making some cards. Make some Mother's Day cards. It's a little late. Oh, thanks, Betty Ann. And if you don't have Mother's Day cards, just make some thinking of you cards. But, try this layout. I've given you the measurements. It's easy to do. Bye, Renee. I don't blame you. It is time to go to bed in your place. She's in Australia. So with that, I'm going to say goodbye. I hope everybody has a great weekend. I will not be in the group Monday night. I have book club, and I haven't read the book. So I need to get some more pages done. If I have a gist of the story, that's fine. It's about Pocahontas. So, but anyway, have a great weekend. I will be posting. If you're in the group, say hello. Or on the page, say hello, share your cards. We all love to see ideas. Have a great weekend, guys. Bye.